Yeah, let's jump into the Patreon now, which
So run down we've had a big week on the
Mm.
Patreon.
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I'm about to go into right now.
Yeah, run that down.
Where
I'm
the
going to plug up my
Patreon link
computer while you're
is going
doing
to
that.
be linked below, right there. If you want to go ahead and give us a subscription, the Patreon's right there. Bring a lot of news, a lot of content happened this
I'm
week.
going to plug this
The
up.
first of which came from Cassidy.
Oh no.
Yeah, the first of which came from Cassidy.
Read it
Cassidy
out,
broke
Cory.
some news about let me see. I'm trying to see which one this one is because he had double the news when it came to AAA and WWE. This one is about El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr.
Yes.
having a deal with WWE now.
Yeah.
That he's got that WWE deal. So good for him. He is a great luchador talent.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Then
Trying
Rami
to
had an
load.
interview with Kid Bandit. That's exclusive. It's still on our
Correct.
Patreon.
That
Another
interview was fantastic. Fantastic,
yeah.
by the way.
The
Very good.
then there was another
What else?
story. Cassidy had a story about Octagon Jr. That he's been finalizing his date and
Yeah.
wrapping up his remaining commitments before he's signing with WWE. And I believe we're into the Mr. Hayes
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, we're back into mine now, where I had an update on Evolution. That was last weekend. I had got an update on what the plan was for the women's tag team championships. I was able to confirm rumors that Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez were going to be the women's tag team champions, and they were going to be defending the tag team championships at Evolution in a triple threat. The triple threat ended up getting changed to a fatal four-way tag team championship match now. They
More importantly, let's talk about our beards because this guy loves our beard growth. I approve of this.
Thank you. I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy with my length of the Mr. Polar Nights. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow, and I'm tempted to not trim it.
The beard looks good. Keep the beard.
Thank you. I might get. I was thinking of going like full kind of mustachy, like a thicker mustache with like hangman-y kind of. Yeah, I had that for All In last year, and Dax told me I looked handsome, and I said thank you, Dax.
Well then go with that. Cory can't grow facial hair. He just has that. That's all he can grow.
No, I can't. My father can't. My father can't grow it either. So it runs in the family. This is it.
That's face pubes.
I can grow more than him, though. I'll tell you that. He can't even grow this. So
that's what?
Well,
that sounds weird.
Damn, why are you talking shit about your dad so much?
Just same reason I talked shit about old people 2 weeks ago.
Bro, Mark, did you know he hates old people?
I like old people. They're nice.
I thought so too, but you know who hates them?
Cory, seemingly, yeah.
Me! Chris Jericho's an old person. I hate Chris Jericho.
So here's the thing.
You're shouting again.
You're shouting. Is it your John Waters mustache that makes you shout so much? Is that what it is?
No. If I got something, I'm going to yell. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That'll get you kicked out of
back to the news. Back to the news.
Our beard growth is news.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Look, it's right here.
You have a beautiful beard.
I do.
Thank you.
Are you jealous of our beards? Is that what's going on?
I can't grow facial hair. So
is that why you're trying to? Is that why you're trying just to skirt past this and not talk about it? Is because you are?
No, I want to get through the news so we can have the real reason we're here today.
Oh, to open these Pokemon packs?
No, we do that every week.
The real reason we're all here.
No.
All right.
Back to it.
Carry on.
The women's tag team championships are being defended at Evolution now in a fatal four-way. They decided to add an NXT tag team to the mix, which I don't know who NXT is going to have represent them as a tag team that weekend because Sol Ruka and Zarya will be busy on Saturday at Great American Bash. I don't know what they're going to have them, if they're going to be the tag team or if they're going to have somebody else. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Another exclusive that I dropped on Sunday was the plans for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky will be defending the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley at Evolution next Sunday. I was the only one to report that. So That is what's happening there.
Until Mike Johnson came and really reported it.
He didn't even say shit about it. So shout out to him for not taking that from me for once.
Well,
Mike Johnson definitely has a tiny dick.
what that shirt that Mark Briscoe wear on AEW yesterday talking about MJF? That's Mike Johnson. That's what you're saying?
Got a tiny penis, yeah.
The pickle, whatever the funny shirt that he had.
Yep, don't really care. He can say what he wants.
Then I broke some news about this is gonna be a SmackDown spoiler. So sorry guys. I'm gonna talk about it. I broke some news before the SmackDown taping happened on Monday that Drew McIntyre's return is imminent, and it happens tomorrow on SmackDown. So I just broke that news. Sorry for the spoiler there. What else? Big names locked in for Evolution 2. More Evolution news from me. The SmackDown representatives for Evolution are two names that you would think that are going to be the ones representing the brand. And then obviously WrestleVotes and Fightful had been reporting that Trish Stratus was scheduled for Evolution. I was able to confirm that and say what the plans were for her at Evolution. She'll be challenging for the Women's Championship. What else? I had some news Tuesday on the Patreon about the favorite to win the Women's Battle Royal for Evolution. The favorite is currently La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer. That is the favorite for the Women's Battle Royal currently. Then, let's see. We're into Mark territory now. Mr. Mark territory, contract news when it comes to a few talent within AEW. Mark reported that major WWE interest in both Danhausen and Private Party, sounding like their deals are almost up imminently. Then he also had, it was reported by Raj Giri last week, I think it was Friday night, that Chris Jericho's deal is up at the end of the year, and you were able to confirm that. Renee Paquette's under 2 contracts, and they are expiring around the same window as Chris Jericho's. And 2.0's deals run until August. And then Jon Moxley's contract is locked in through 2027. So good on you for those reports on the contracts. Shout out to you for that. Cody Rhodes then had a report about Miss Money in the Bank Naomi. She will be getting a custom briefcase made for her going forward. It will have caution tape all around it, and it will say Naomi. It won't say caution. It will say her name on the briefcase from what he was told. And now into the juicy stuff. The juicy news that came out yesterday. We had two separate stories on BodySlam yesterday. One from the AEW side and one from the WWE side. If you're looking at the title of this show right now for BodySlam, it is the main topic, Britt Baker news. Mr. Mark, if you want to talk about your part before I get into what Viper reported on the WWE side, go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, so ourselves and a few other outlets that we can confirmed as well had heard news the other night as well as yesterday morning that Britt Baker had not necessarily requested a release. We were very careful in what we worded on that. She hadn't officially requested a release. However, she had been inferring that she would like to leave AEW and that people within AEW had been of the mind that, well, if she were to leave, we're not going to let her leave anytime soon, particularly following the Pittsburgh tapings and ahead of the Evolution pay-per-view. We very carefully verified that and worded it to the effect that we'd never said that she had requested a release or anything. We also then worked with Viper to confirm what the WWE side of things were, that they weren't aware of any upcoming release for Britt Baker from AEW. So yeah, and
they didn't have any plans to sign her, regardless right now, because she's nowhere close to being a free agent. Her contract runs through fall of 2026. So
Yes.
as of right now, she is still under AEW contract. She's still there. There's no plans for her, it looks like, currently. And what you've heard is that she had talked about possibly wanting to leave, but hadn't officially requested or anything.
So what we'd worded as Britt Baker was seeking to part ways with AEW. We very much worded it to the fact that she hadn't requested a release. However, she'd been talking internally with colleagues and otherwise that she'd been somewhat unhappy being benched for an extended period, not too much communication forthcoming, and had vented to various different levels of power internally within AEW to that effect. Now, obviously, various different sources later in the day escalated that point, who were able to confirm directly from sources within AEW and within the Britt Baker camp to the very direct question of are you seeking your release from AEW, yes or no? Is Britt Baker seeking your release from AEW, yes or no? And both said no, and that where the controversy kind of led from there then.
Yeah, if you want to talk about that, because these people like to drag things out. So if you want to talk about that, go right ahead. The floor is yours.
No, and to be fair, like Sean, to be fair to him, Sean Rossap and the guys in Fightful is a really nice guy. I had a really good chat with him last night as well, and this morning actually.
He's one of my good friends. Definitely, I can say that good person. Definitely gets his info down pat. Nothing there. How'd that go?
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Actually, I had a funny conversation this morning because it was somebody, a troll here in Ireland, had actually contacted my employer. And I'd reach out to my girlfriend as well.
That Twitter page?
Yeah.
Send it to me in the private chat.
I will. Yeah. But
is like which one? There's so many. When you say that account, like, brother, which
the one that he mentioned it in the group chat yesterday. So
yeah, I ended up.
I was driving all day, so I probably missed it.
I ended up conversing with that guy in the afternoon a bit. So what can you do? But yeah, no, it was a very thorough conversation with Sean and the guys as well, in terms of they understood where our news had come from. They understood the context for where our news had come from. They understood that a number of other sources had also received the same piece of information in that time frame. Their duty was on their end to report officially, has there been an official request for a release from AEW beyond Britt Baker's side, or anything that AEW were aware of, and they both confirmed no. So that's our stance on things. We were very careful in what we put out there. We never said that Britt Baker has sought her release. We've talked about her inferring she looked to actively part ways with AEW. There was a lot of back and forth before anything was published, before the guys published on our Patreon as well, and it garnered a lot of attention. But again,
aggregation accounts.
Yeah, I'm
they
still.
They definitely botched that aggregation.
It was so bad.
I mean, I'm still waiting for Malachi Black to leave AEW myself. So, yeah, sometimes there's a similar situation. Who knows?
One Ricky Stark similar to, and one that was another couple as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of those people do this bit of a song and dance, kick up a stink backstage when it gets released, or was actively intentionally released, then officially gets denied. It was funny. One of the people who's been most vocal and abusive of Body Slam over the last 12 to 24 hours online. He's a very prominent account online, quite a following, very controversial guy. He's from my country, actually.
Trevor?
I don't know.
Robert?
I don't know. God knows. But then on a different platform, he was talking about, he had it on good authority that somebody was trying to cost their contract to get out of their account as well. So, and then I had to see him perpetuating that Body Slam was a toxic female talent hating entity.
I saw him saying something. He said something about BodySlam. BodySlam saying we're gonna have a token woman on the staff with BodySlam when we have quite a few women with BodySlam.
Anyway, I
don't understand where that came from.
Send me that guy's count too. I didn't see that yesterday either.
Anyway, but there's a lot of people. Anyway.
You quoted him.
Oh, it's the one that said.
Yeah,
it's the one that said.
But it's funny.
I'm
funny.
AEW adjacent. I'm WWE adjacent.
I'm
That
100%
guy? Yeah.
Like, I mean, the guy who was fucking abusing me today, right? He was like, you want to take AEW down. You posted this because it was AEW 300. I fucking love AEW. I'm a complete shill. I'm a complete mark.
What shirt are you wearing right
What I'm
now?
fucking wearing, like, do you know what I mean? I am the most uber pro AEW guy in the world, and like, I even consider not putting stuff out because like, is this a negative context or whatever? And do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
we have talked about that. I'd be like, that serves us no purpose. Let's keep that.
Yeah, exactly,
Oh,
100%. And there's tons of other instances of that as well. So like, I love AEW. I love the people. I love what they stand for. So these online trolls who literally, like, I know what time zone they're based in. They're based in my time zone, and you're texting
Yeah.
me at 4 or 5 a.m. I'm like, and then at 7 a.m. they're still doing it. At 9 and 10, and then through the day, it's like, you don't sleep.
I bet your DMs were very interesting yesterday.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, but I mean, the ones are just like off the wall, like insane people. Like, I mean, some of them I know. Like, Dublin's a very small place in Ireland. I could happily come meet you at any point. I have a conversation. Just quite happily have a conversation over a phone call. Like, I'll happily ring you or meet you very, very quickly. But I mean, no, you'd rather be a faceless, nameless troll and then start throwing absolute obscenities at my employer. And I work in financial services. Wrestling news. Like,
A scripted sport, yes.
Yeah, I was sitting in office today, and I got a partner in my office was like, Mark, you know, like, what's going on here? I heard you got slapped down by an SRS. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I got some guys messaged me on LinkedIn here, calling you a bigot. And I was like, excuse me? So I had to go explain that to my employer then. And then also my girlfriend.
So you're a bigot because of the fact that Britt Baker wants to get out of her contract.
Because Britt Baker had been kicking up a stink or something.
And that makes you a bigot. Okay.
Well, their rationale is that we hate female wrestling, or we're trying to target a female wrestler. And then to that similar effect, but more abusive. Yeah, and more abusive and flowery language to my girlfriend then. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Who again has no connection to any of my wrestling socials. So then you'd have to find my personal LinkedIn, my personal Instagram, my personal Facebook, to then go down a rabbit hole to find the people on that. That's fucking weird.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's absolutely the extent that some of these people in the wrestling community go to fucking find out your personal stuff. That's insane.
Yeah. Anissa says, I like your background setting, Cassidy. So do I.
Yeah, it just got more exciting. We just got a lot more exciting with the fucking dog show. So this is my dad's dog, nice. Piper, who is the sister of the dog of mine that just died in March. Like this dog and my dog Bauer looked exactly the same. So they were like sisters and brothers. So she's a good girl, and then this is my newest girl, Foley. So they're cousins.
Foley.
They're cousins, and they're hanging out. But, so Anissa was talking about the background. What y'all don't see is right off the side here is a fucking pool that has a hot tub that waterfalls into it. And there's like 3 waterfalls. I don't know if I can
jump in it.
See if I can get it. It's over there. Can you see it back there now?
That's awesome.
Yeah, you go jump in it in that weather.
I'm going to here in a little bit. I got to do this shit first.
More importantly, we also had other Patreon news throughout the week.
Oh, yeah.
Where we talked about Claudio Castagnoli. We anticipated he'd be appearing on AEW Dynamite last night. We knew he was backstage. We also talked about potential belts that have been made for AEW. Reported this probably last week at this stage around intergenerational tag team belts. Now, this has been teased for a little while. These have been made for some time as well. Belts potentially could feature Nick Wayne, Christian Cage. You could also potentially see the return of a Luchasaurus with Jack Perry at some point down the future. You could see instances with Ricky Morton and son. You could see instances with Kevin Von Erich. There was somebody else. Who was the other one, Cass? There was somebody else.
Kerry Morton and Ricky Morton.
There was another AEW. Oh, fucking Costco guys.
Bring the boom.
Bring the boom.
Bring Costco guys. Those are people who have been discussed internally about potentially doing a short-lived intergenerational. It wouldn't be a bad idea for a pre-show thing. I actually think I thought it was stupid. Then I realized the Costco guys thing. I was like, that's actually a good selling ploy if you're doing it for pre-shows to get people to buy pay-per-view.
Have them buy the pay-per-view and the marketing side.
Yeah. So
And then good work on the AEW side from you. Good work with those stories. I had one more that I dropped yesterday. One more.
Did you guys cover mine earlier?
Yeah, we talked about yours while you were gone. Yeah.
I was setting up my computer.
Corey
Power was fucking going off on this.
Oh, also, I've an interview with Mikey Nichols that is live on our Patreon as well. One half of the former the TM61 from NXT, the mighty TMDK tag team and NXT tag team champions, New Japan tag team champions with Shane Haste. A very interesting interview to listen and watch. Is all I'll say. If anybody is spare time,
it was live at 6 Eastern yesterday. It was hilarious.
It's
live.
Good.
It was hilarious.
It's a
lively. Yeah. So check that out.
And I've got one more piece of news.
What is there?
We already talked about yours. You talking about your next one that you got coming up?
I don't know. Which one are you talking about?
No, we saw. Do you have another one you're dropping? Another interview?
Oh yeah, Chase. I got an interview with Chase whenever he gets his fucking computer fixed. It was supposed to record earlier this week, but he couldn't get his headset to work in his computer, and he tried to go buy a USB splitter, and I don't think it worked. I don't know.
Bullshit.
Dude, he's like me, man. We're cavemen. He's not a computer, and I'm not a computer either. So I was just like, I don't know, man. Did you try rebooting it? That was my suggestion. And he was just like, he's like, of course he goes, let me try that. And it didn't work. So we're getting to it. I've got
the last bit of news that we had on the Patreon from me yesterday was regarding another piece of news on Evolution. There had been discussions within WWE that there was going to be some sort of TNA representation at the Evolution PLE next Sunday. WrestleVotes reported on WrestleVotes Radio today that two names that had been discussed were Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, formerly known as the Iconics, now known as the Inspiration. They have a booking on July 13th, so that kind of makes it complicated if they were to do that. But yeah, there have been talks about having TNA representation somehow, some way on Evolution, which would be good. I'd like to see quite a few different promotions be represented on that PLE. It would be nice to promote the people that you have partnerships with right now. So I'd like to see that. But yeah, there have been discussions about having some sort of TNA representation. Those were two names that I heard. Another name that I heard was TNA Knockouts World Champion, Masha Slamovich. I haven't heard anything if anything has been worked out. They've also been talking to a few legends about appearing on the show. I wasn't given any specific names for the legends. So we'll see. They're trying to work out some stuff still.
If I had to guess, I bet Awesome Kong shows up. Right?
You think?
They're trying to work out some legends. I mean, what are the legends? Name some other legends.
Is she a WWE legend though? I mean, like,
she was WWE.
Yeah, so
TNA.
I know, but like she was there for like a week as Karma. Like literally a week.
I thought we were talking about Slammiversary. Weren't you talking about TNA?
No, I'm talking about Evolution.
I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention to you.
You're boring as Corey. You're boring.
I was. Yeah, you're boring as Corey.
So now we get to the best part of the show, which is the ending where Cassidy rips packs.
We're not talking about that yet. We gotta do more stuff. So next week, I'm not gonna be able to do the show next week. So you're gonna have to find somebody to fill in because I'm gonna be traveling.
I'll be doing it by myself.
No, I think Mark's got you. It looks like Mark's on you. Mark's here with you next week.
We'll see, because that depends on his work schedule. We'll see.
Hey man, it looks like it's over by the time he gets here.
I'll be starting earlier.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
We'll see.
Why would you do that when you don't have a co-host?
You'll dilute your audience by doing that.
I'll pull a Sean and have a solo show next week.
Why would you do that when you got people wanting to do shows with us? Come on, man. Don't be that guy.
I got a few people that want to do shows with me.
I will lock you out of the goddamn street.
One of them is in our comments right now that I might possibly have on the show.
Which one? There's a lot of people in our comments.
Masp, Black Hawk, Oscar Reed Rodriguez.
Well, you just named one of them.
Randy Ingle.
Danny
Atomic
Bennett.
3301.
Anissa.
Let me call up the creative director of Body
Speaking
Slam.
of us not having women on our staff, here's one right here commenting on our staff that's part of us. So.
Hey, she was at the shows yesterday.
Yeah, she was at yeah. Oh yeah, well, we got a woman in as media for Body Slam last night. So speaking to AEW,
and she gave us some news
for women.
The gentle activity.
We got some news last night regarding a return on Collision. Thanks to Alicia yesterday. So yeah. Shout out to. It's good to see him back after 2 years.
Well, let's just see if he keeps coming back, or if it was just like, "Hey, we're in your."
Yeah, because I remember the last time he came back and then he disappeared again really quickly.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Did a weird vignette package thing for like a week or two, and then suddenly disappeared as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
But the word was that was being done just purely to tease something off the back of Ethan Page moving on.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, like.
Sorry, I had a thought. Actually, sorry.
Lay it out.
Corey, because you're Mr. NXT, right? You're Mr.
He is
Big
Mr.
Brain, Mr. Performance Center, yeah? Mr. Florida Man. So the NXT Performance or the Performance Center is like over 10 years old now, right? What are your thoughts on their inability to produce talent at this rate, and their continued reliance on having to externally source talent to fill their shows continually now?
They can produce talent. There's no doubt that they can produce talent because there's a lot of talent on the main roster right now that have come strictly from NXT.
But
of those who had nearly all of them had wrestling experience.
Yeah, if they were wrestling before they got to NXT, that doesn't count because they were wrestling.
No, I'm talking about straight. I'm talking about straight NIL talent. If you look at NXT right now, look at what Obafemi is doing.
Oh, we got Tiffany too. Tiffy, right? Because she was
Braun Breaker. Tiffy and Braun.
Tiffy and Braun Breaker didn't have any.
That's it.
Yeah,
he did the exact same. But Braun Breaker was in a holding pattern doing the same match for 5 years. Like he's pretty much the same guy as he was 5 years ago.
You also got to remember who was booking NXT at the time when he was down there.
Shawn Michaels.
Same person as booking.
No, it was Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard were booking NXT when he started.
That's not true.
I don't think that's true either.
Yeah, NXT 2.0 is when he started, and
Shawn Michaels took over
NXT.
NXT 2.0 was literally when Shawn Michaels took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, after he got kicked out of the company, yes, that's when he took over.
But it didn't change, is what he's saying. Like it's not.
And then as soon as Shawn took over, Braun was only there for a little bit before he left.
Oh.
Let's see. When did
they had him doing the work? They had him doing the work.
There's a reason. This is why you're blocked by him.
They had him and Baron Corbin doing tag team work before he went to the main roster.
Yeah, but it's fucking.
And that tag team work was actually very entertaining. They were a good tag team.
You're easily entertained.
Let's see. Hold on. Now, you said Baron Corbin and him was who? That was Shawn Michaels stuff, right?
Anyway, so since it's a damning reflection of the ability for the WWE Performance Center to produce talent at a reasonable rate without also being willing to incur the costs of providing them with actual repetitions of wrestling matches. So they're going back to the pattern of what they're doing with NXT Black Gold, by having to exclusively bring in talent who have wrestling experience or partnerships with other promotions to fill their TV time. Because there's a period the last year or two when you're watching NXT, you had about 20 different 2-minute matches over and over again because nobody was good enough to hold a television program or to have a wrestling match. The most 90% of homegrown talent on NXT television can't throw a strike. There's a huge amount of things that they're very poorly trained. And if you look at most independent shows like Cass, where you're from, Wrestling Hot Belt, go to shows up and down that whole area, you'll have people who have better basics and fundamentals than most people in NXT.
Which they've signed some of them, like Javon Evans was from our area. Some of the Evolved guys like Sean Legacy and Jackson Drake are from my area. And there'll be more. So there's Diego Hill just got signed to MLW. He's from my area.
Yep.
There's some good ones down here. But yeah, like I agree with you, man. As far as the homegrown talent goes, it's like very few and far between. They fucking hit.
Obafemi is a homegrown talent, and look
so
at
you
what
got,
he's doing right
we've
now.
named 3 out of how many years?
Kalani Jordan is a homegrown talent, and look at the growth she's had in over a year. Lola Vice is a homegrown talent. Look at the talent that she's got.
But they're outliers rather than the norm, and they've got so many people on TV who are just like shouldn't be anywhere near, and it's more of
Sol Ruka's another name, correct? Yes, Sol Ruka.
She can do flips, but like she can't wrestle. But the we're talking about.
Then you're talking about Will Ospreay. If you're talking about Will Ospreay the same then, because all he does is flips and shit.
He can fucking wrestle. You saying Will Ospreay can't wrestle, buddy? Is that what you're describing?
Flip.
Corey. That's so god.
Will Ospreay's.
We're just gonna do that. We're just gonna fix that.
Yeah, okay,
we're fixing that. Like,
oh gosh, just
Will Ospreay's my favorite on the AEW roster. So
you're gonna say he can't wrestle?
He can tell us.
I didn't say he can't wrestle. I said he does the same flips. I said he does the same flips and shit as Sol Ruka.
Yeah, but everything else he does is his best in the it doesn't matter about the flips. Everything else he does in the world and on television is better than anybody else in the world. Like it's just his ability to
That is a fact. That is a fact.
Struggle, convey pain, convey emotion.
He's gotten a lot better. He's gotten a lot better at that. I'll say that. He has gotten a lot better.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Do you watch wrestling?
No, he watches NXT.
Oh,
that's it. Okay. He watches NXT.
His promo game has gotten a lot better.
We're not talking about that. We're just talking about wrestling.
I'm talking about promo. I'm talking about.
No, you're not. You just started it. You just jumped to that because you talked yourself into a paper bag on the other fucking topic.
But NXT, but Performance Center. Sorry, Corey.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
This is entertainment, though.
Yeah, we like busting Corey's balls.
Sorry.
He hasn't looked up at like 3 times whole show.
He's watching boxing and thinking about his hair on his phone.
Yeah, he's watching WWE and Chris Jericho matches right now. That's what he's doing.
I'm absolutely not. I'm trying to get some more news right now for our Patreon.
Well, when Chris Jericho goes back to WWE at the end of this year, you can.
Oh, I will stop watching completely. I'm done.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
You'll appreciate it. You'll be like, you just made the list. Yeah, he said.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
We'll be like, man, can we talk about how great Chris Jericho has done?
What a resurgence! Oh my God!
Thank you.
Match of the year contender. Contender.
Absolutely not. I would rather shoot myself in the fucking head than watch Chris Jericho in WWE.
Corey's gonna be like, I can't wait.
Give me all the
reinventing itself again. He's the best.
WWE doesn't have enough 2- and 3-star matches on TV. We need more 2-star matches on television. That's what I've always said.